Welcome everyone, I haven't done a proper review in quite a long time, and I think now I'm going to start reviewing some of the films that are coming out to kind of keep this channel a little more contemporary, to show that I am going to the cinema, seeing films. And yeah, this is going to be my first 2016 film review of the year in video form. And let's get started. We are of course reviewing Zootopia, which is opening now in the UK I think, or if it opened last week or this week, I'm not sure. Under the title Zootropolis. I'm not sure why. I heard something about a zoo being called Zootropolis in Europe. That's as far as I know. But regardless, let's get into the review of Disney's latest film. So this film is directed by Rich Moore and Brian Howard. And Howard has worked on Tangled and Bolt directing, and Moore has worked on Wreck-It Ralph. And that is the extent of what I know. They've also worked on a few other TV episodes and whatnot, but that's the extent of it. And what can I say first? I absolutely loved it. I enjoyed it more than I enjoyed Deadpool. When I was walking into this film, I was like, oh, okay, the trailer sells it as this very kind of commercial film. There's going to be a feel-good, typical Disney movie, which it is in some respects, and it does have very cliche moments. But it surprised me, and it just had me laughing so hard. And the audience that I watched it with, I would say I was probably like the average age there. There was lots of adults, lots of people, between the ages of 18 and 25 there. And everybody in the cinema was laughing their asses off. And it is that funny, and it really catches you off guard. And I think this is the start of, well, not the start of, it shows the great streak that Disney's been on for the past 5-6 years. I think it kind of started with Tangled. Tangled came out in 2010. I think, or 2011. And you had Wreck-It Ralph in 2012, Frozen in 2013. I don't think it's a great movie, but you have to admit that it was commercially an absolute smash. Then you had Big Hero 6, and all these are all really great films from Disney, and some people are saying this is another Disney renaissance like they had in the 90s. And I have to agree with that, 2000s was a little rocky with films like Chicken Little and Meet the Robinsons, which aren't awful, but they definitely weren't as successful as their other films. And, Zootopia is one of the best out of this new renaissance, and I absolutely love it. So, just quickly, the synopsis, premise of the story. So Judy Hopps, who's a rabbit, has wanted to be a police officer since childhood, and goes to Zootopia to become one. Despite the fact there's never been a bunny cop, she is determined to become one. So she goes to Zootopia finding work, and it's then that she discovers that it's not all it cracked up to be. And then eventually she ends up diving into a missing persons case, which turns out to be a lot more than she thought. Without giving away too much plot, this is a completely spoiler-free review, which I always like to do. Keep it snappy. That is the plot. And the film will really surprise you as we get further into the story. What things that I like about it, I think it had a really good sense of humor. There was a lot of great film references. And it's not a spoiler to bring it up because it's in the trailer, but when we see that little shrew doing Marlon Brando from The Godfather, it is a riot. I couldn't contain my laughter. I thought maybe I'd get kicked out if I really started to laugh the way I wanted. It was just so funny. It's the way they done it. You come here, my daughter's wedding day. What's so funny about it is they just done it so well. They put him in a little tuxedo. And the eyebrows are exaggerated, his belly's sticking out, he's kind of like this, he's got a ring. It's the way that they put a lot of, physical humour into that little bit, and it just worked so well. And, man, just made me laugh so hard. And, I feel like the film is it's almost got a noir kind of tone to it, it's that crime detective kind of story, everything unfolds. It really is it actually almost makes me think of Chinatown, which I only watched, I rewatched 2 weeks ago because of the twists, because it starts off as one thing and then very quickly it starts to change a lot. And yeah, definitely I think it's got some similarities to the Chinatown kind of noir tone, which I really like about it. And of course what I would really like to talk to is the message of the film and the politics of the film, because that is something that is being kind of discussed and debated at the moment. To me it is about a few things. On the surface, we get that motivational speech of, you can be whatever you want, which is a wonderful message for kids. Regardless of what you are, you can always try and be what you want to be. And it's a really nice message for kids. And when you look a little closer, and sometimes you don't really need to because it's quite obvious. The film is about racism. It's about class, and it's also got elements of sexism, which I don't like to see it as much as. I mean, obviously feminists are gonna say because it has a female protagonist, of course, female protagonist entering a male dominated job. Of course, it's got that behind it, and this is it's a product of contemporary society right now. And I liked what Luke over in Razor Wire Review said about the film. It's not about feminism, it's mostly about class. And yes, I think it is about class, but it's a little more than that. I think it's also about racism quite a lot. You've got all these species, which is, obviously representing the different races that we have in our society. And Zootopia is like a utopia for diversity. And although that song with Gazelle, played by Shakira, very heavy-handed song, but regardless of that, I think the message is never in your face, and that's what I like about it. While that is in the background, it's not shoving it in your face, and it's something that Disney has done really good at putting in this film. Keeping it subtle and letting it be more about these characters and the scenarios that they're in. Aside the complexity of the film that it has, it's just a lot of fun. It's such a fun film, and I definitely think I'll see it again, maybe next week, or in 2 weeks from now. I watched it like 3 weeks ago, only reviewing it now, but I definitely want to see it again in the cinema, because it was just a wonderful film to watch. And that's all I can say about it, everyone. Zootopia is a great movie, 4 out of 5 for me. Definitely check it out. Take your family, take your girlfriend, take your 60-year-old grandparents, 70-year-old grandparents, because everyone will enjoy this film. It's great fun. And that's my review of Zootopia, everyone. Thanks for watching. I would love to hear what you think of the film and what you think of my criticism of the film. Feel free to drop a comment. Until then, everyone, see you next time.